In the previous lesson, we created a new BurritoCard component. So now I want to render it within our app component. So we actually have two burritos, and you can find their complementary images in the source assets directory. So we're going to have a burrito supreme, and we're also going to have a quesarito. So let's begin by importing our BurritoCard component. And that is going to come from a file in the exact same directory as app. And that file is called burritocard.jsx. And we do not need to provide the extension there if it is a React component file. Then down below here, I'm also going to import the two burrito images. So first up, we're going to import an image and call it Burrito Supreme. And that is going to come from the assets directory and the Burrito Supreme JPEG file. And make sure you add on the .jpeg extension. I have found that sometimes it does not work if you do not include the file extension. Then down below that, I also want to import my second burrito, which is called quesarito. And that is going to come from the assets directory and the quesarito.jpg file right here. Okay, so the structure down below is going to be very similar to what we did with tacos. We're going to have an array of burritos, and each burrito object is going to have an ID property, a name property, and an image property. And then afterwards, we'll call the map method on that array to create a burrito card for every object in our original array and render it to the screen. All right, so right here, I'll declare a new const called burritos, and that will be an array consisting of objects. So for my first object, I will give it an ID of 1. And I know that that ID is shared with a taco above, but we'll talk more about that in just a minute. It's not going to be a problem. And here, my burrito will be, of course, Burrito Supreme. And the image will be the Burrito Supreme image that we imported above. That's my first burrito. Then I will add a second object with an ID of 2 and the name of quesarito. And that image will be the quesarito. Okay, so now we have an unused burritos array, and I want to render a component or an element for each one of its objects. So what I'm going to do below is just copy and paste our code that we previously wrote for our taco cards and modify it because it's going to be very similar. So here, of course, instead of iterating over our array of tacos, I want to iterate over our array of burritos. We are still going to be able to destructure an ID, name, and image prop from or property from every object that we are iterating over, each one of these burritos. But the key difference, of course, is rather than rendering a taco card for each iteration and returning an array of taco cards, instead I want to do a burrito card here. And the rest of our code should still work because we're just going to pass the name and image prop down to the burrito card, and it's going to render it in the exact same way as a taco card will, just in a different order for the title and the image. All right, so I'm going to save that and head back to the browser. And there we go. So now we have our 3 taco cards. You can see the image is followed by the title. And then on the right-hand side, we have our new variation for our new menu item of a burrito. And here we have our name up first, followed by the image in the middle between the name and the button. So it looks like the logic of our burrito card is functioning as expected, right? This is exactly what our product manager wanted, but now we have 2 components that are still somewhat similar, right? It's kind of always a hard question to answer perfectly, like how similar are these 2 things, right? Are these 2 completely distinct components? And the answer is the burrito card and the taco card do have differences between them, but they also have similarities, right? And it's kind of our judgment call to decide whether they should live as 2 separate components or whether there is a way that we can consolidate them and bring them together so that one component becomes even more reusable and flexible and capable of adapting to multiple situations. And as we'll find out, there is a solution in React called Children that is going to allow us to bring these 2 components into one. But regardless, we began with a good strategy, which is not trying to optimize too early and rather allowing ourselves to have that initial duplication just so that we can build out the initial feature. And so now our burrito cards are rendering just as they should. So our product manager is happy. And now we as developers can start focusing on actually improving the code from a technical perspective. So I will see you in the next lesson.